Again, I think it's a good idea. You see, the problem with the idea is that it's archaic. In 2018, the intervention program of the future is a program that should be talking about empowering 200,000 entrepreneurs that can employ a minimum of 5 people. Not single one. You're going retail. And that is wrong. It's not effective enough. But it's a good idea. There's no doubt about it. The other thing that worries me is that when we are at 3/4 of the time to the end of the government, any government is elected for 4 years contract. The idea that you tell me about short-term, mid-term, long-term is great, but it's not realistic. A government should do a contract of 4 years. When you are 75% of the time out of the game, and we're saying something that just started, there is trouble. By now, we should be saying done, 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 done. Not we're doing it. That is the major problem that we have. The reasons that have led to this problem is another story. We've gotten to where we are today, where we have a government of future tense. Continuous and future tense. We are doing, we're going to do. Rather than we have done, is because we wasted too much time not doing the right things.
Let's allow Dr. Elenama to come in here. Can you say this is what we have done, like he asked?
There are some things that sound nice to hear, but if you're a student of life or a student of wisdom, you know how unsound it is. The things that truly matter are the things that will endure for the long term. Think about all the other countries. The social safety net program in America that people started in the 40s. When you get it right, it will endure for generations. So while it is alluring and exciting to say we did something, we finished, that's why Nigerians are obsessed with, which is Jonathan's, which is Buhari's. Why do you care who is right instead of caring about being satisfied? The important thing is to start programs that will be sustainable, that will last. Don't you want to have a social safety net for the country? Don't you want to do it well? Don't you want to establish it in a way that will endure? Why do you want somebody to say, I did something? This obsession with, in my own administration, I was there for 4 years, I finished, the other guy will come and fail, is ridiculous.
Professor Odinkalu, are you impressed?
So the point we're making is that the foundations have been laid. And if these foundations are right, and I believe they are right, then they will endure. By the way, most things that work well take time to take off. You wish it was faster, but just check life.
I'm sure the minister will not mind if somebody else comes in and finish the work they started.
Absolutely.
Yes. So let's kick them out and get new people finishing.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter. The important thing is that it has to be enduring.
Okay,
and let me say that Nigerians aren't going away. They're not living for 4 years, then they go away and that group will come.
Yes.
So the important thing is to lay foundations well, build on it, and that's what Dr. Dikbolu was talking about, that these foundations are being laid. And these programs must continue, and I hope they continue, irrespective of who is in what position, because we have a country to build.
Let's hear from Professor Odinkalu.
I don't know whether you noticed. This is the only panel that doesn't have a woman. Because we're in a country in which security is supposed to be an alpha male enterprise. But women are actually a cohort that are paying a huge price for the insecurity in the country. Women can't go to farms. I actually thought Obieza Kwesili was going to be here. People know her more as Bring Back Our Girls than as former Minister of Education. And we've got to have that perspective to humanize this our conversation. If we don't, they're being abducted, they're being raped, they're being chased out of school, they're being married off at 9 by capture. And we've got to reflect that in this conversation so that we become real. Otherwise, you'll be talking like my brother here, the difference between insurgency and terrorism. We don't live in a classroom, with all due respect, and telling me about Iraq and Afghanistan. That, as a matter of fact, is the problem.
All right.
Because the doctrinal, I've got to address this. The doctrine of our military treats Nigerians like we are Iraqis and Afghans. No, they're dealing with Nigerians. And we've got to reflect in our training and doctrine, and in our counterinsurgency doctrine, that the people we're dealing with are Nigerians and not Iraqis.
All right, we have some distinguished... members of audience, and it's time for us to get some of the questioning so that we can make it as interactive as possible. We've looked through a few questions and that have been turned in. Let's begin with Professor Akinfeleye, the Professor of Communications at University of Lagos. Professor, if we may take your question quickly.
Thank you. My name is Rafa.
Professor,
Yeah, Professor Rafa.
if you may quickly move to the microphone, please. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to, first of all, congratulate the organizers, but also to complain that it's a pity that one element is missing. That's the role of the media in this democracy we are talking about. Especially the aspect of the point we are making, i.e., the issue of fake news, fake network, fake website, fake columnists, fake reporters, and fake politicians, and so on and so forth. And fake news is not new to us. It started about 1890, because about 128 years ago, but we're figuring it here. I think there's a need for us to understand that principle. Now, the first question for the first panelist is the issue of change. I believe that whether you like it or not, the calculus of change is change. And in this present dispensation, we have recorded some elements of change in some aspects. But the direction, the flow, and the intensity of change, that's what we're talking about. The second point is this reduction on the government spending. I disagree with my brother, the panelist, who said we should sack people. We don't need to sack anybody. We are talking about reduction of the lawmakers. They are the problems. How can you spend 13.8 billion as a, what's it, running cost? And here you are not able to pay 18,000 minimum wage.
All right.
So for 2019, please, I think we need to redefine democracy. Patrick said so. In doing so, sir, the government will be living in full paradise. If by now we don't get ready for 2019, because there will be, whether you like it or not.
All right, Prof, let's take another question.
It's called erythromesis.
That's it, Prof. All right.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you so much, Prof. Let us take another question from a media consultant, Mr. Larry Arogundade. Mr. Arogundade.
Okay, thank you very much. Mine is not just it's not a
If you
question.
can please go straight to the point.
Yes,
We have
and
very short time.
my
Thank
point
you.
is that if we say we are fighting corruption, we've always debated corruption, so we're not just debating it. But I think that we need to take some steps. We need to end the regime of plea bargaining, where you say billions and you say you are giving a little to the states and then you are set free. We need to improve responses to Freedom of Information Act requests. It's amazing, and the media rights agenda has been having a hall of shame for so many government ministries and state governments that refuse to answer simple questions. As a matter of fact, some state governments don't even disclose the details of their budget. And then I think finally, when we talk of body language to fight corruption, the whole question of immunity for people who are in power needs to go. And we need to know what our governors, our presidents, our ministers take as security votes. Because I would have liked to ask the EFCC guy to disclose to us that most of the monies that are stolen from government are actually monies that are termed security votes that run into billions and we don't know what they are used for. Thank you very much.
So much. So let's take another one from Mr. Isaram, who is a Labour leader. Quickly, if we just go straight to the question so that we can have the conversation going. Just about a minute.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope It's okay. Well, first, let me quickly just thank Channels, for celebrating today this way. And for us in the labor movement, democracy is not just the means; it's an end in itself. We couldn't have been here in the 90s. You could recollect that Abacha one day woke up to close down Punch newspaper, The Guardian, and Concord newspaper. Nigeria Labour Congress was dissolved 4 times by the military, Executive Council. So for us, it's great that we're celebrating today. And I think what the point Honorable Minister is raising, okay, for once I agree with you that we need to own the process. There's already a change in the country that 20 years after, spirit of democracy is on. Now, democracy as a means, I think Bismarck raised a very good point, which I think we should build on. He reminded us that one way for recovery is for us to address the living wage of the working people. I think he talked about that minimum wage has not been addressed, and I think we should think over that, within the context of economic recovery.
All right.
And the last one is that we talk so much about people living below poverty line. You know that 2016, President Obasanjo was celebrating how he created 20 billionaires in this economy. I mean, this administration, my sister served very well. Is crazily. I'm raising this point because Oxfam also released a report this year that the wealth of 5 Nigerians, totaling $29 billion, can eliminate extreme poverty in this country. Now, my question is this. Can we really make this democracy sustainable with this level of divide in which the rich is getting richer and majority of our people are getting poorer?
Right.
And as we have agreed, there's a link between economic insecurity and physical insecurity.
Thank you so much. Let's take another intervention from Mrs. Comfort Ogunye.